crazy, insane, busy to like no people coming around. You're like, what is going on? Right across the parking lot in tears, being chased by a small child. Hi, my name's Rori Lewis, and I'm from Hesperia, California. I am Shelby Hall, and I am from Huntington Beach, California.
I'm Theresa Contreras from Johnson Valley, California.
I'm Amanda Bolin, and I live in Los Angeles in North Hollywood.
Oh, nice. All right, so Theresa, we'll start with you for a day.
Okay.
Let's just start with, you're basically like the founder and the voice of Baja Forge. And so where did your love for off-roading start?
Really as a kid, like going off-roading with my parents. I mean, I think I was like 3 or 4 weeks old when we went to Pismo the first time. And that was like my parents like camping in the back of their vehicle and stuff and just being on the beach at Pismo. At 3 years old, I had, my first ATC 70. So we would go to Glamis, here in Southern California. That's like the big thing out here. And so it's like the sand capital of the world, right? We go to Glamis and we would go to Baja. We would go to Mexico in San Felipe where my grandparents would take us. So they would take our family. We would go down there and ride ATCs. And I grew up around it, just like being around it. We would go to Colorado and take Jeep trips, and we'd have a Bronco. It'd be like the only thing out there too, and everything's all Jeeps, and there's the Bronco too. But we had a love for adventure. Our parents, grandparents, like they always kind of like did things like that. So it's always been something in my heart that like it's a place where everyone gathers and they really like, I don't know, like allow the world to like be what it is and like enjoy each other's company and explore. And it's like really cool being able to do that with a community.
Awesome. I'd love to hear stories like that.
Yeah.
So the journey of becoming Baja Forge, tell us a little bit about that.
So I've worked at, I've had different jobs, but worked at the family business for, oh my gosh, over 20 years. So family business, collision repair shop, but we also started doing custom vehicles for the SEMA show. So my dad started doing that. We were like kind of involved a little bit here and there. My husband worked at the shop. My sister worked at the shop. I worked there too. And I was a graphic designer, and there were vehicles that were coming in. And one day I was like, this car needs to be pinstripe, but I was mostly working in the office, just helping people like secretary type stuff. And so I taught myself how to pinstripe. They were like, the guy didn't show up to pinstripe the car. And I was like, I'll just do it. And everyone was like, how are you going to do that? I'm like, I've seen him do it a million times. And I went to school to learn different mediums. It's just another medium that I have to learn, I'd pick up things pretty quick. So like the next day they came in, they're like, oh, you did it. And I was like, yeah, I told you I was going to do it. So I actually started locking myself in a paint booth at night and started to custom paint. Like I started to teach myself how to paint. It took me probably like 2 years to actually get good at it. And then going to the SEMA show, I went to the SEMA show when I was 16. And like literally the first time I went, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm going to build vehicles like this for the show. Like I need to be doing this, So so I literally started building vehicles and working at our shop and stuff, and just like we'd start to get other people that were coming to us. We started doing vehicles for like Ford Motor Company. I could go on and on, but from there,
Doesn't make us long.
I've been around a while. But being from the family business, basically in 2019, we bought this place out here in Johnson Valley because we loved coming out to the desert, and it's so different out here, right? The energy is different. It's great out here. So we loved coming out here. This was like our vacation home. And then COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, like our body shop, like literally for 3 months, like nothing happened, you know? It was kind of crazy. We went from being crazy, insane, busy to like no people coming around. You're like, what is going on? We were in LA County. And literally, on February 14th, 2020, we started Baja Forged. And then, March 13th, 2020 was when COVID started. So like, it was kind of weird. Like literally 1 month later that happened. So we were like, well, I guess we'll start like working on, on our parts and stuff. And the reason we started Baja Forge is in 2011, I had a Ford Raptor that I had built for the SEMA show. And it was on like the cover of Truckin' and all these other things. It was the first thing that I designed fully, that like I designed the bumpers and did all the paint, and it was mine, I had 20-inch wheels on it. Yes, what 20s people. And I off-road it, okay? And like, there's all these little things. I have my own style, but everyone liked it. And it kind of grew from there. We started getting awards from Ford for like our designs and things like that. So finally it was like in 2020, it was kind of like, well, I guess we're doing this thing because the rest of it is not happening. So we started doing more of that. And then last year was the first time we actually went full time into building Baja Forge. So not 2 jobs anymore and trying to juggle that. And so, 2023 was like our first official, like, okay, we need to start doing this. So, yeah. Yeah.
So flex.
You're kidding.
So what does the future of Baja Forge look like? Like, where do you guys want to go with it?
So, I mean, just getting parts manufactured in this last year has been it's a whole different ball game, because we went from building a custom vehicle, a one-off part, to now building something that everyone has to understand how to install, what to do. So it's such a different animal that we've had to tackle. But like really the goal is like, I want to see our name out there to be able to be on other, custom Broncos, like Baja Forge Broncos, that are out there, being able to do packages like that and stuff. And part of the reason, with Shelby and everyone else here is that I love off-roading. I love teaching people things. That's a whole nother thing that I do with our nonprofit, is I love being able to be part of a community that wants to enhance it more and give more skill to other people and help them love off-roading as much as, I do, as much as the rest of us do. So seeing Baja Forge, how it can help the community grow and what it can do for other people to help them understand how amazing off-roading and adventurous exploring, all that can be.
Awesome. All right. And then how did you and Shelby and Rori meet?
So we were all talking about this. We're like, I don't know, it kind of just known each other. I know. So let's tell Rori, because Shelby, because we were like, we're just gonna keep getting your name. I just know it. It's only long, sure. I know. Like, hello. No. Yeah, because I hadn't met Rori yet. So Shelby, I knew of Shelby and stuff. I knew of her grandfather too, of Broad Hall. Very big fan of Broncos and just off-roading and all of that. I've always been into Baja. So my dad and I had gone, I think it was 2019. Do you remember?
I think it was 2019.
Okay, so I think it was 2019. But we had done, so the Broncos were just coming out. And so at King of the Hammers over here, they were giving rides in them and stuff. But they weren't doing it where you could drive them. Someone else was driving you. So my dad and I were like, okay, cool, we're going on this, right? And so Shelby got to be our driver. So that was really cool. So she didn't know me at all at the time and stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, I totally know who you are and stuff. But I think it just, I don't know, it grew. I think last year really, we have our Baja Forge Desert Ranch Roundup every year. And that's really to grow our community and to bring people together. So we were trying to figure out, we're like, I don't know, we probably met a little more on Instagram, and then she came to that, and we've just connected more because we just love doing this type of stuff. So.
Awesome. All right. Okay, you three are next.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let me.
That was pretty good. I don't know how we.
No, gosh, come on.
It's tough to follow.
All right. So how did Amanda? How did you, Shelby, and Rori all meet?
So I would say it was like a year and a half ago. I met Shelby on just a trail run. So I didn't have a Bronco yet, but I knew I wanted one. I wanted to be part of the community. So I just decided to go on a trail run in exchange for photos. I was like, if someone will just let me ride in their truck, I'll take photos and give you guys everything. And Shelby was on that run. And so at that point, I think it was like very clear. I didn't even know really what I was like. I didn't know what the mute worker or what anything was, but your truck's pretty much a giveaway. Like, oh, okay. So after that, I think, we probably went on another run or something. I don't know. I think we just started hanging out after. Yeah. From then it was like, oh, cool. Yeah. And I met Rori through Shelby. So yeah, it's just kind of an
Bronco community.
Yeah, we all landed up a year and a half probably.
I think we all know each other through Bronco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that actually,
It really is.
Bronco has totally pulled us together.
Yeah.
All of us there.
Yeah.
Our love for Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we brought her in.
I'm gonna say, what role I think the other thing is going on you? You are in the mat. And the Charlie Bronco all the time. Yeah. But yes, it is growing. We'll blame more shares. Yeah. I am a Toyota fan.
She's like, I gotta plug that.
So just yeah. For me, it was like similar to Theresa. Like I grew up with my dad had Broncos. He was in a Bronco off-roading group. I'd been off-roading since I was a kid, so I just grew up with my whole life. So
Our first car.
yeah, my first vehicle was a Bronco. It was a '96. I wish I still had it. But yeah, it was, I hadn't been around it for a while, like through a good portion of my life, and kind of wanted to get back into it. So that's how I ended up on that trail run. And yeah, I was like, I will take photos of anything you're doing whenever I can. So that was pretty obvious there. And you guys are amazing, all three of you. So it's of course you want to be around it all the time. Like it's such a great community. It's like, and women being together in it is really, really awesome. You guys have always just been like inviting and welcoming and supportive and positive, and I love laughing with you guys. So it's been an easy fit. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So how did you two meet, Rori and Shelby?
She's gonna tell.
So the short story is Rori and I met competing at the Rebel Rally. We competed against each other. So the nitty-gritty details of how we met through the Rebel Rally was 2022. We were competing against each other, and we had a base camp in a place called Amboy. And it's this tiny, creepy, unbelievably little town in the middle of nowhere, and its population is like 5.
All for 66 in the middle of nowhere. Like you can imagine.
It's the old Route 66. Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
And I don't know if I should admit this, actually, but I do have a fear of masks, like people wearing a scary mask. I had a kind of a traumatizing experience as a child at a haunted house, and there happened to be this child in Amboy who was wearing a mask and a hatchet. And I don't know if it's real, but it's like
that sounds creepy.
So the child's like hiding in the shadows, and it was creepy.
They have to admit,
Intentionally trying to, freak people out. Well, it really worked for me. And so I came out of the restroom as the kid was hiding in the corner, and then started following me with the hatchet, and I lost it. And I just started running. I was running. And I run back to where everyone's eating, all of the competitors, and I'm crying. I mean, I was very upset. And I just sat down at a table. Like, I don't even think my teammate was at that table. I just needed people to help protect me. And, everyone's kind of giggling like this, before then, people might have thought I was, you know, I was in like competition mode. And then to see me right across the parking lot in tears, being chased by a small child, I'm sure was hilarious. And so Rori did her best to make me laugh and comfort me and be my friend in this moment where I was very upset. And we knew of each other, you know, we kind of maybe like very casually chatted as competitors prior to that. And that was really how we first met. Like, that was all I was expecting that. And honestly, like, I thought it was very comforting and soothing, but at the same time, I really was teasing her at the same time. So you're going to find him on your Tinder. Yes. Definitely. It was a fun, like, I'm just trying to make light of the situation. Yeah. So, but that's what sparked our friendship at the time. And she used to work at Total Chaos Fabrication, and the owner of Total Chaos, Nicole, she's very, very involved with the rally, and she's an exceptional driver and amazing in the dunes. And so I had spent some time with her training in the dunes. So then this connection kind of started between Rori and I. And turned to 2023, I was needing a new teammate. I needed a navigator. And early 2023, I got a phone call from Rori, and she said, I know that we don't know each other that well, but you are a badass and you're someone that I would love to be teammates with. Would you be willing to, you know, kind of interview each other and see if we're a good fit? And it was like, ever since then, thick as thieves. It's been amazing. We competed in our first rebel together last year in 2023, and you know, we did awesome. And not only did we do awesome in the rally, we had so much fun.
Right.
The whole year.
Ready for the just incredible. Like, we became friends so fast. Like she said, like, our passion, we have the same passion, the same drive, very similar human beings.
Yeah.
And we did, like I said, I'll say multiple times, we speak the same language. At least she speaks my language. But it's a blast. We jump in the car and it's automatic fun, and we, no matter where it is, what we're doing, even if it's we're having a difficult time, we will always make it the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. All right, Rori, I'll start with you. Where did your love for off-road start?
So I was early teens. Growing up as a younger child, I was more into like competitive sports and did wakeboarding, snowboarding kind of stuff. And then early teens, my dad finally bought me a dirt bike, and I started hitting the dirt on two wheels, fell in love with it out here in Johnson Valley, because I do only live about 45 minutes down the road. So it's kind of my backyard. And so it was automatic. We'd come out here, you fall in love, every mile you travel, it just becomes better and better. And it's so peaceful being out there. And then when I turned 16 and I got my license, I started driving my dad's truck. And then, like she said, my old boss, Nicole Patel, I've actually known her for the majority of my life since I was an early teenager. And so she opened my world up to Toyotas off-road. So we started there, and I started going out to Ocotillo Well, and just traveling and just going on the trail runs with them. And then, like I said, once I turned 16, got my license, got a truck, it was all over from there. I was hitting the dirt in my Toyota left and right, and I started working for Total Chaos about 8 years ago, and just recently had to step away for personal reasons, but an incredible journey. So when I started working there, fell even more in love with the sport. And then my boss opened me up to the navigation world. And then when navigation came into my off-road roading world, it was next level all over from there. It was like, I can go out in the middle of nowhere off-road. I can put my cell phone away, and I can still figure out where the heck I am at any moment in time. This is my place. This is my zone. So since then.
That's awesome. This was not a planned question, but what is it going to take to get you in a Bronco?
Look at her out there.
Hey, I am more than happy to drive. We're like, we don't know, Ford. Yeah, so let's explore that question. No, I am more than happy to represent and to support Ford Performance and the Bronco world. Ever since Shelby got me into her Bronco early last year, it's been incredible. I have nothing bad to say about the vehicle itself. And then we went from the Bronco Wild Track into a Raptor, and next level. Like, I just, again, fell in love with it again. So after the rally last year, my husband even asked me, he's like, so Can we get a Bronco?
I mean, I did say I'm not an F-150, so that are Ford vehicles. So now we are in the Ford world. So now part of the family. Now we venture out a little bit farther. So yeah, that's it. Actually, within the next year or two, most likely, I'm going to say that it'll probably. There you go.
Can't wait to see that happen. So Shelby, where did your love for off-road start?
Well, a lot like Theresa, a lot like everybody here, actually, we were generational, and thankfully, our parents had a love for off-road. And I mean, mine stems back from my grandfather, Rod Hall. And that guy was through and through dirt all the time. And I mean, he kind of had this funny thing that he used to say, that if he wasn't good at driving, he wouldn't be good at anything at all. And because he devoted his whole life to being the best off-road driver there is. And he passed that down to my dad and to my uncle. And when I was born, my mom and dad were very heavily into off-road racing and off-road events, off-road training. And so, man, I was strapped in and out in the desert all the time. My earliest memories, I'm making forts in sagebrush. I'm sure I was just eating rocks for lunch. I was dirty all the time. Although when I was young, I had these glittery pink fringe cowgirl boots. And so there's pictures of me down in Baja.
Love it.
With, I'm wearing the most ridiculous outfit, but it's it's suitable for being in the dirt with pink glittery fringe.
Hey,
how so
nice to get used to.
So I guess old and getting her for her. And so, it's just I was born into it. I have siblings who they were born into it, didn't love it. They weren't super interested in getting dirty.
But that's what people don't get. Not everyone wants it.
No, they have to. And I just did. I do have this memory of, so my dad taught an off-road driving school, and at the end of the day, I would beg him to please take me for a ride in the racetrack. So he would strap me in. I was tiny. I mean, as an adult, I'm 5'2". So, and this was before school age. So I was, 5 or something. So he'd strap me in. Of course, I had a 5-point harness. You couldn't get it tight enough. I couldn't see over the dash. So he'd be taking it nice and easy. And I would beg him, Dad, please go faster. Please go faster. Please go faster. And I just think that feeling never left me. And as I got older, I became very close to my grandfather. And he was just like my life coach, and he didn't even know it. I just soaked in everything that he was telling me of how to really be precise with tire placement and throttle control, and how to protect a stock vehicle, and how to be able to have a vehicle that you have to drive to work Monday through Friday, but have it still be your adventure.
Love it.
And that's where I got my start. And I just loved that seek of adventure and being off grid and hanging out by the fire at night and being the captain of my own ship. It just really made me very happy. Makes me very happy.
So what is the hardest thing about it? You guys can both answer this question.
Well, the Rebelle Rally is a very interesting competition. I come from a desert racing background, and so the first year that I competed in the Rebelle Rally was in 2016, and I had only desert raced up until that point. And I had no idea what I was getting into when I agreed to do the Rebelle Rally. And to be honest, I did not like it. I thought it was a race. I thought we were going fast.
Right.
I thought, and then we got into the rally, and it was like, you gotta slow down so that we can find these hidden dirt roads, and we're using a topography map, and we're, measuring with a tiny scale. And so I was like, this is not for me. Fast forward a few years later, I felt like it was a really great platform for Ford to take their stock vehicles and showcase how capable they were. And so I presented that idea to Ford, and shockingly, they said, cool, yeah, let's enter 3 trucks into the Rebel Rally, and then I got into it again, and now I absolutely love it. And I've found this thing that just fulfills me in so many different ways that desert racing doesn't do. But what is so hard for me is, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I am very type A, and it's really hard to not be in control of all the decisions that get made.
Yeah.
It is a very, 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 very two-member team to be successful. You have the driver and you have your navigator. And, your navigator can't be successful without the driver, and the driver can't be successful without the navigator. And I want to make all the decisions. I want to be the one that's driving the truck and looking at the map. And that's really hard for me. It's really hard to compete for 8 days. It's really hard to be the best that you want to be. I am very competitive, and we put a lot of hard work into it, and I want to see that hard work play out. And I struggle when we make mistakes. It's really hard for me, which is something I am working on. But the rally is really hard. It's hard to be really good for 8 days consistently.
Yeah. She pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, as a navigator, I've gotten to drive 1 year, and it was strange to step aside from the navigator's seat. And like she said, you want control of that. So that 1 year, yes, I can definitely feel her pain and her eagerness on, sitting in that seat of wanting to be so involved in making those decisions, but you just don't have that control. You have to, rely on your partner to do their job.
Yeah.
But when I'm back in that navigator's seat, you're taking a test for 10 hours a day for 8 days straight. So when you feel good in the beginning and everything's rolling and you're cruising along, everything's making sense. But as soon as those little errors start to happen, you truly start to second guess yourself. But then along the way, you're also losing a lot of yourself too, because you haven't slept. Yes, you're trying so hard to keep on you're keeping hydrated and making sure you're fueling your body at all times, which we are really good about. But you can't guarantee you're going to get a great night's sleep. And one night's sleep lost can really put a damper on the next day. And then you make one mistake and you can kind of unravel from there. Not to say we've ever done that by any means, but you have those feelings of I have to keep pushing through. I have to keep pushing through. So your mindset is just, you have to hold a very strong mindset for a really long time.
You have to be so mentally strong. You have to be able to take those mistakes and throw it away and move on.
And move forward. And try to learn from it at the same time. It's like you take what mistake you made, put it in that. But yeah, you take that mistake, you figure out where did we go wrong? What exactly happened? And you try not to do it again. And then you try your hardest, but it does happen again. But if you, we're working on it. We're working on making strategies and simplifying as much as we possibly can and making it as easy as we possibly can by making it second nature. Yeah. And so in my world, I'm going to keep on instilling it in my brain and keep on cruising, because it's the mental challenge that comes with it, is my hardest.
I believe it. After 10 minutes. 10 minutes of plotting, and I said, I'm going to get a drink of water. So yes, I 100% believe it. Last question we have for today is, how did Shelby Hall Off-Road start, and where do we see it going in the future?
This is a very funny question. We're talking about Nicole Patel so much. So Nicole, at the end of 2022, after we finished the rally, I'd had it was a hard rally for me. It was a hard rally for me and my teammate. And we kind of figured out that our goals were going in different directions. And, coming to that realization is hard. You and your teammate become best friends. You spend so much time together. You have to rely so much on each other. I mean, it's kind of like breaking up. It's a breakup. It's like, now we have to go separate ways, and now I have to see you with your next partner. You have to do whatever you're doing. And so I was just really kind of like, what do I do now? This person's been a big part of my life. And, so I had reached out to Nicole and just had been talking to her about how I was feeling and what I do. And she said, Shelby, you know, you're making such a huge impact with the Bronco world. Like, whether you see it or not, this is happening. And you have amazing brands that believe in you, that are behind you, global companies. And if you really want to take what you're doing to the next level, you need a website. You know, she said Instagram and social media is awesome, but when a company is at a global scale, they want to see you professionally. And I was like, all right, yeah, I can get down with this. Like, I'm just going to make a website. I'm just going to have a landing page. And the more that I started working on the website and the more that I started digging into my portfolio and my resume, you know, I was like, wow, I have done some pretty cool things. And like, we are setting some records and becoming someone I never thought I would. And I felt like people were looking up to me and they were believing in me and they were asking me for, you know, mentorship. And I kind of finally realized I have knowledge, I have experience that other people don't have. And I have the ability to share that. And whether it's with men or with women, I don't care. I just want to be able to share the information I have with people who want to ingest it. It's, you know, I don't care if it's off-road. I don't care if it's skiing. Getting into a sport of any type is really, really intimidating, especially as adults. It is hard to not know how to do something and be surrounded by people who do know how, or who you think know how to do it better than you. And
Yeah.
But we've all been there, and I just wanted to be able to create an atmosphere and a platform that is open to anybody and everybody who is willing to listen and put in the work. And so just kind of like it started morphing, and it was like, I love trail rides. I wanted to start putting together workshops and trail rides and what I wanted to do, you know. I was like, other people probably want to do the things that I was doing, right? There's got to be like a couple people that want to do the same stuff that I like doing, and so I just started brainstorming ideas of trips and events and workshops of skills that I wanted to learn, and I wanted to bring smarter people than me in to help teach skills that I don't know, so that I could learn too, and then Rori was just like so involved. She just was as excited as me to start putting this Shelby Hall Off-Road brand together, and Amanda and Theresa. And it's like, it's just become this really awesome community. And it happens to be a lot of people that drive Broncos. And it's just because, you know, I've been with
Right.
since
We find each other. That's just the thing.
And like, I know a lot about Broncos just because I've been learning about them for the last 5 years. And it's just turned out to be so rad because this new 6th gen Bronco has enabled so many people who didn't know about off-road before to have a foot in the door. And so I feel like we've been able to just really capture this awesome community who is willing to not know and put in the work.
Yeah, it really has brought a new community in of other people going like, wow, that looks like fun. I want adventure. I want to be part of it. And I think the way Ford presented Bronco, they really wanted it to be a platform that everyone could see. Yeah, make it accessible. I totally agree that everyone could see themselves doing, you know. It just felt different than like a Jeep or anything else. It felt like something that just, there was so much more behind it.
So for a whole year, I was part of the nationwide Arrive and Drive tour. And I would get people in my truck for anywhere from 20 seconds to 15 minutes. And I really tried to utilize that time to learn about that person and why are they buying a Bronco, and who's actually going to be buying the Bronco. Is it the husband? Is it the wife? Is it the kids? Do you want to take it off-road? How much off-road experience do you have? Because a lot of people would say, how do you know when to push that button?
Yep.
And I was like, all right, so this is what we had to create. We have people. So I found out it was mostly women. and they had no off-road experience, and they wanted to off-road their Bronco. I was like, that's it. I need to be that person that they can come to.
I love that. Yeah. So what was cool, it's kind of like, you didn't even go to so many other things that she does too, but again, probably just the questions. But I got to be so one of the things that Ford did really well with Bronco is that they had a set of people. So it was called the expert panel. And so I got to be part of that. I was the only female that got to be part of that. And they brought, racers in, and, Dave Cole from King of the Hammers, like all of these people in to really understand and know, who knew in the off-road community and what they wanted, and so we all got to go in. This is, oh my gosh, 2016, 2013. God, it was so long ago. I'm like, I forget what it even, like, it was like 6 years before before it was released. Yeah, no, it was insane. And literally the first thing we did when we went down to the Space Mid was like a Jeep with cardboard boxes around it. We're like, what are we looking at right now? Like, what's going on? But we got to be part of it. Like, we actually got to like where the hero switches are and all of these different things that got to be part of the design of the Bronco.
Which totally makes sense, because the Bronco is designed with so much forethought of what an off-roader wants.
It is. And part of it though, like a big part of it was straight axle or independent, right? But the thing is that Ford really understood that they wanted this new community to come in because it had to be something that was comfortable to drive. Okay. Because other vehicles are not that comfortable to drive on road. And this needed to be that. They needed to be something that people wanted to drive every day. Just like you were saying, during the week, right? You drive it, and what do you do on the weekends? I mean, it's like we don't all have unlimited funds all the time, so we can't have two toys, but we want something that we can drive every day, but then still have fun with it. And so they did such a good job at making sure all of those things fit and way well beyond before they released it and stuff. It was really cool that they put so much forethought into something like that.
No, definitely. It's funny that you guys bring up people who weren't into off-roading beforehand.
Yeah.
Because that is literally me.
Yeah.
I had a Mazda 3, and
I love it. Obviously, those are popular. Hatchback.
Couldn't afford a hatchback, guys. So I definitely am one of those people who had tried out the Tacoma. I've tried out 4Runner. I did not try a Jeep. I just knew I didn't know what I was. Definitely tried. Yeah, and so I remember seeing the Ford Bronco commercial, and immediately I was like, I want that.
Yeah.
And then also, on top of that, doing all the things that you guys do, I think I've told some of you, I have a 1-year-old daughter at home, 1.5-year-old daughter, and I need her to see, women role models of getting out there and just doing it. And so, this was this was not planned today, but it was something that, I'm so blessed that I get to have this moment with you guys.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Yes. No, this is great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing.
You got it.
Yes. Yes.
For you, I will.
I think the idea is that we do it. We love sharing this with everyone else. Like she does, I do, we all do. It's just, it's contagious, Yeah.
Oh, and then please tell me about your podcast.
Yes. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So I was going to mention that of how it came out. So I was recently asked to be a guest on Theresa's podcast, The High Octane Hustle. And I love doing podcasts. So I was like, yeah, cool. I hadn't listened to it before. And so after she asked and I started listening to it, and I was like, wow, this podcast is real deal. And going to a studio, it's the first time I'd ever done a podcast in a studio with a whole team. And it was so amazing. I mean, it's like sitting with your best friends, catching up. You hadn't seen each other for a couple years.
The energy was just so good. Jane, that does it with me, my co-host, and it's just so good. The synergy and everything, and just her stories that she was able to share. We want it to be really authentic. The idea of it is that first off, we love motorsports. Like we just want to see so many people come into the community, just like the off-roading, like what we're doing here. And it's like, how do you do that? You infuse people with these stories of why other people love doing it, right? And so like Shelby's, like where did you start and how did you get to where you are now? But the thing is the journey isn't always easy, right? Like everyone thinks it is. No, but it's like all the hard work that goes into it, you know? Like you, Daniel, asking me today questions. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to share it because I am an entrepreneur that has put the work in, that, you know, understands like you have to pull lighters and you have to do all these things that don't seem glamorous, you know, and everyone sees the end result of things, but we all know how much hard work we put into it to make it happen. And that's like really what we want to do with our podcast is have these people really share what it takes to be who they are.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Yeah,
Thank you. This was fun. It was a nice
It's a really cool way to end. Totally.
I know.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So glad you came out today, yeah. And that Megan invited, right? And then, it all worked out.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
Right. Megan also.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Awesome.
Yeah,